Welcome to this section. In this section, we're going to be working on events. In our last session, we worked on how to create elements. We worked on how to replace elements. We've also worked on how to change the contents, yes, the text content on your DOM, and how to add the styling. We've also worked on how to remove the elements from the DOM. In this section, we're going to be working on events. What is an event? An event is the interaction with the UI or the web page. We can listen to an event on any element. So it's very important that you know what this event is all about. So firstly, I'm going to be putting an event on this particular button we have here. So we're going to listen to an event on this button. So let's go to our HTML file. Let's go to the HTML file. So we have right here the href. We have the anchor tag here, and inside we have a class of clear tags. Now let's move on and create something cool with this. So we have document dot query selector. So inside the query selector, we're going to have a class of clear tags. So we have add event listener. So two parameters will be passed into the event. We have the first one will be the event type. We are working on a click event, and the second parameter will be a callback function. So the callback function, we're going to have this right here. So we have the console.log. So we have hello world. Alright, so I'm going to do something with this. Now let's reload the page and click on the clear tags button. Let's reload the page. So okay, alright, reload again. Alright, now you see what is happening on this our document. I'm clicking on the clear tags right here, and the hello world is coming up, but it's going immediately. There's something wrong with that. So let's go to our index.html. If you look down here at our index file, right here at the href, we have a default behavior that's supposed to be happening right here. Now the default behavior is to take this particular button maybe to another page, or taking it to another file entirely. Alright, so what we have here, we have nothing inside this href. So that's why when we click on the clear tags button, it's just trying to bring up something, but the hello world is not coming up. So what we are going to do here is we can do two things: either to put a hash, that's just to put something inside of there. Alright, so let's click on the button again. So click on it. Okay, I'm going to reload the page. So I click on it again. Alright, so we see the hello world coming up. Okay, and there's something you need to know. So whether you have something passed into this href, or you don't have anything passed into the href. Okay, for instance, we have http. So http, let's put a colon /, then we have google.com. Okay, alright, so let's click on this again. Alright, let's reload the page. So we click on this. So you're going to see what is going to happen here. So clicking on this particular button, it takes us to the Google front page. Alright, but we don't want that to happen. So we're going to go back to our app.js, and we're going to have an event object that will stop that default behavior from going to that page. Alright, so the default behavior we have here is to go to google.com. So we're going to have an object that will stop the default behavior. So we're going to put E, that's the event object, and now we have e dot prevent default. Now this prevent default method will stop any default behavior from happening on that particular button. So I'm going to reload this page again. So I'm going to click on declare tags. Alright, so clicking on the declare tags button, alright, you see that the default behavior is no more happening there. So we have the google.com here, which is supposed to be the default behavior. Now clicking on this clear tags now is no more going to that page again. So that's what we use the prevent default to achieve, to prevent it from going to any of those pages and prevent it from having that default behavior that it has there. Alright, now let's comment on this. I'm going to show you how to another way we can create the event. So I'm going to copy this. Another way we can do that, let's remove this and let's take this off. Let's take this off. Alright, now we're going to create a name right here. On click is the name of that function. We're going to create a function name, so we'll come down here and create a function. So we have on click will be the name of the function. Okay, so I'm going to have this right here, so I have console.log. Okay, so still gives us the same thing, hello world. Okay, so it still gives us the same thing. I'm just showing you another way to actually create an event. So instead of using a function directly into the second parameter in the event listener, we just put a name, the function name, and you come out of that event listener and create a separate function, all right, for that particular name you have there. All right, so this still give us the same thing. You see that the hello world is still working. Okay, we have not put the e.prevent default. Okay, prevent default. All right, okay, so passing the object here. All right, so let's reload this and we click on this. So no matter how many times we click on the button, it prevents it from going to that page. All right, so that's it about that. So let's comment on this. Now before we move on, I'm going to have, let's create a variable. Let's declare a variable for file and we'll pass in an event inside of it. So I have console.log. Okay, file. Okay, so we're going to be working on the different event objects that we have here. Okay, the different event object that we have right here. So clicking on this, so I click on this, you see that we have quite some event objects. Okay, so we have a lot of them here. We have the client X, we have the client Y, we have the alt key, we have the shift key. Okay, so many of these properties that we're seeing here have different functions that they actually do. Now the main purpose of this is to show you that the target, you should put the target to show you of the target we have here. Now the target is very important because without the target you cannot actually do anything with this button we have here. So we are going to be working on the target now. All right, so put a semicolon at the end of this. So I have var assign e.target. All right, I'm going to click on this. All right, you see what just happened. Now clicking on the button here, you have all the elements stated right here. Okay, so we see that we have the google.com, we have BTN, we have BTN online dark, we have the clear tags class, we still have the clear tags content right here, and we have the closing anchor tag. So basically the targets brings all the target brings everything we have inside that particular element that the event is upon. So that's what the target actually brings out. Now we're going to have here var. We have e dot target dot id. Let's see if we have an id to that. Let's see whether it's going to get it. All right, you see nothing comes up because we don't have an id. So I'm going to copy and paste that. I'm going to have a class name. Okay, so click on that. All right, so we see all the classes where we have here. We have btn, we have btn outline dark, we have the clear text. So those are all the classes that we have on that particular element. So I'm going to have a class list. All right, so we have the class list here. Okay, so it's giving us a DOM token list. Okay, so we have the btn, we have btn outline dark, we have clear text. Okay, so you see that all these things are actually very, very important when dealing with the event. Now we can still also do something really cool. So we have e.target. Let's try to do something really cool. So text content. Okay, let's use inner text instead of text content. Let's use the inner text property. Inner text. So we're going to change the inner text to hello. So the moment the event is triggered, this content we have here will be changed. So I'm going to reload this page again. So I'll click on this. So you see that the content we have inside of the button has been changed to hello. So basically all those things that we did in the last sections, you see that they are all profitable when dealing with the event. So we can also use something like e dot trying to change the color dot style dot color. Okay, so we have I'm gonna use a gray. Okay, put a semicolon at the end of the expression. Okay, so click on that. All right, so you see that the text color has been changed to gray. All right, now let's move on to the last thing that we have to do for these sections. So we have val. So we're going to work on the timestamp. So let's say we have timestamp here. Timestamp. So we have val equal to e dot target. Oh no, timestamp. Alright. Okay, so click on that. Alright, so you see that we have the moment you are clicking on that particular button is giving us the different timestamps that we have here. So I'm going to comment on this so that it won't disrupt what we're doing. Okay, so we load this again so we can have our clear text content. All right, now let's move on to the next thing. We have the client X and the client Y. Now the client X is the coordinate event relative to the window. So let's say coordinate event relative to the window. So how do we achieve that? We have val, we assign the e dot client Y. All right, now let's reload. Okay, so we see that if I click on this, now this number you are seeing here, 378, is the amount of pixels that we have from the top of the window to this very button. Now if I click on the edge here, you see that it gives us another number. If I click on the button here, it gives us another number. Okay, so it gives us it gives us different numbers as we are clicking on different parts of that button. All right, so that's it about the client Y. That's a coordinate event relative to the window. So it gives that what the numbers you're seeing here is the pixels from the top of this window to that very button. Now for the client Y, the client X, I mean, what we did now is the client Y. the client X now is the coordinate event relative to the window also, but it's giving us for the horizontal. Okay, now if I click down here on this edge here, you're seeing that it's to give us 36. If I click on the edge here, it gives us 149. So everything from the window, starting from this place, all right, starting from here to what we have inside of the button, that's what gives us our client Y. All right, it's very easy. Now lastly, we're going to work on the offset X and offset Y. So I'm going to comment on this. This is coordinate event relative to the element, all right, so we have var, you have e dot offset X. Okay, let's start with Y. All right, so let's reload this again. Now working with this offset is the coordinate relative to the element, so it's not the window this time. Now it's just basically just the element. Okay, so if I click on this top here, you see it's giving me -1. If I click down here, it's giving me 6. So it's everything just on the element itself. Okay, the coordinate relative to the element itself, not the window. Okay, and you see what is giving us. I click on the edge here, it's giving me 35. Now that's for the offset Y. Now let's work on the offset X. So we have put the offset X. Now it's this one is going vertical. Now if I click on this, the edge here, it says this one is giving me -1. Okay, now if I click down here, you see that it's giving me 12, 52. If I click on the edge, it's giving me also a number. So those are just the pixels available from the edge of the element to the other edge of this element. All right, so lastly we are going to work on the type, event type. Okay, event type. All right, so we have var e dot type. Okay, e dot type. So click on this, so it's giving us click. So this the event we are using for this course, for this particular session, is the click event. Okay, so if I come down here and I change this click now to mouse over, let's change this to mouse over. Okay, all right, let's come down here and I just come down to the button and I try to mouse over, and you see that it triggers it. You see, it triggers the mouse over event. All right, so that's it about this section. It's very easy. All what you need to do is to follow my lead. Okay, we've done quite some good things here, and I believe you have a good understanding of what we did here, talking about the events. And in our next session we'll be working on the different event types that we have, and I believe you're going to have a good understanding of it all. All right, thank you for this, thank you for your time, and I'm going to see you in our next session. Bye.